Hi everyone. Please do let me know whether you could hear me. Great. Thank you very much. Um, Welcome to our general skill migration webinar today. I would like to welcome every one of you. Uh, First and foremost, let me wish you a very happy Easter and thank you on this long weekend to participate in this webinar and go through some of the current topics that we are talking about today. I would like to welcome, we have many people from globally joining us. I would like to welcome the participants from Australia, from Sri Lanka. We have also some participants from Japan and not last, people also joining us from Dubai, and also a very special welcome to the members of the Sri Lankan Professional Association in Dubai, whom we um, do have a joint venture with. So let's start on this webinar. We will talk on many general skill migration topics. And I'm not going to talk too much because I want to leave as much time to answer all your questions. I will also be joined today in the panel. You may not be able to see him, but he's there in the panel will be Angelo Norton. He's our manager skill migration. And we will also be on Facebook Live. And we'll have the country manager from our UAE Gulf region, Andrea Pereira, answering any questions that you may have and any questions um, that I might not be able to answer or maybe too much. Um, let's have a look at what we have today. Okay. Um, One thing I just want to let you know that leave all the questions for to the end of this webinar and come on Q&A rather than chat so that I can concentrate and answer your questions accordingly. So today we are talking about navigating skill migration. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Quite true, because we all have a dream of our lives, maybe to travel to another country, to live in another country or experience. And we do know that many people, including myself, many years ago had this dream of migrating to Australia. And over the years, I believe that I can honestly say that after traveling to many, many countries, saying it's one of the most beautiful places to live in harmony with many, many nationalities. So let's go into our next page and a little bit about myself. Um, I've been a MR agent from 2006. That is after studying migration law and getting my license. But I have many years before helped many migrants with their migration issues and questions and helping them out with many other issues that they face when they do come to Australia. My background is predominantly from accounting, and as you see that I'm a CPA of Australia and a FCMA of UK, and now I'm also a member of the Migration Institute of Australia and holding the Migration Agents Registration Authority license. So you need to be a MARA license to practice and give advice to our clients. And it is as a migrant myself, it's a great pleasure over the years. One of the best jobs I had after being an accountant is that to assist um, fellow human beings to in their all their migration questions, issues, visas, and so forth. Um, let's look at general skill migration. That's what we are there to talk about. So whilst I'm talking about general skill migration, I just want to touch how do people to migrate to Australia. So I believe today our um, participants today would be interested in general skill migration. But I'd like to touch a little bit about that coming into Australia. There are many, many ways. And there is what we call a family migration, and especially when an Australian permanent resident or a citizen gets married to an overseas foreign nationality, a person from a overseas country, they could sponsor them on family migration as a spouse. And certain children who are migrants in Australia, they can sponsor their parents, and some of the parents can sponsor their children, and that goes on. Then there is also one very important factor, which is connected to general skill migration. And this is today we're not talking about that, but I believe you'd have had access to my webinars previously, which is on employer-sponsored migration. So we have general skill migration that we are going to talk about today, and I will just briefly touch on employer-sponsored migration or visas. They go hand in hand, whether you have to be qualified, whether you have to have work experience, whether you have to have English, but it's not worked on a point system. There are four main categories of employer-sponsored migration. I just want you to just be mindful about it, because many solutions of people who are already in Australia or sometimes even overseas, who have secured a job in Australia with an Australian employer, in fact, actually is preferable if they do go through what we call employer sponsorship. So for a person who has had just 1 year of work experience, we have what we call a 407 trainee visa. For a person who has had 2 years of work experience, we have something called the subclass 482 temporary skill shortage visa. And anybody who comes to Australia on a temporary skill shortage visa, whatever the occupation is, once they serve 2 years for the employer, they move on to, at the discretion of the organization, they can be sponsored for permanent residency under subclass 186. There are two streams, what they call direct entry. So anybody who has 3 years of work, 2 years of work experience on the 482, or if you're in the main list, which is called the medium to long-term list, and you have had 3 years of work experience wherever in the world, an employer wants to sponsor you, can be sponsored directly for permanent residency. It doesn't go through a point system. It doesn't go through this invitation process, the waiting game, like general skill migration. And finally, there is the 494 regional sponsored visa, which is for people who are employees in regional areas of Australia, they can sponsor. So I hope I didn't go too much, excuse me, to that, but it's a very important topic. You can always get more information by getting in touch with us. Now, coming back to general skill migration, it's a program run by the Australian government that allows individuals with specific skills to uh, 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 get through the point system. This has been there for a very, very long time. So just many of you, I don't have to go through each of these. These are things which are on the internet and you can find out, but I'm going to touch on a few things. And I'm going to also explain why do you need a migration agent in some cases. Very interestingly, I was talking about whether you should go and get advice from a migration agent or not. Depends on the complexity of your case. Um, there are statistics to show that a certain small percentage of people, when they look at all the applications, can have done it individually, but they do it at a certain risk involved. And I will explain some of those pitfalls and the reason that you should go to a skill migration agent. Um, there are occupations. The most important thing is that the occupation. So we have various lists. We have got the medium to long-term skill occupation list, and we've got the short-term skill occupation list. When we apply for permanent residency, it's just not one visa that we apply. We apply for many different visas, or we lodge expressions of interest to many different visas. I'll come to that process a little bit later. So we have got the skills occupation list. So the medium and to long-term skill occupation list will have access to certain visa categories like the subclass 189 independent and the subclass 190 and also the subclass 491 visa. The short-term skill occupation list will only be confined to the subclass 190 state government sponsored and subclass 491. So what I'm going to say is if your occupation falls on the short-term skill occupation list, you must have a state government sponsorship. And what the state government sponsorship, I'll explain as we go on. Then you need to, so for every occupation, the department, there's legislation to say, look, if you're an accountant, you should have at least a bachelor's level qualification. If you're an engineer, a professional engineer, you need to have a bachelor's degree qualification of at least 4 years. So every occupation has a required qualification level. And that is what we look at when an applicant comes. You might even have a degree. Now, let's take an example. I'll take an example for an engineer who has a 3-year degree from UK. Now, that may not be, on many equations, may not be relating to a professional engineer, which you should be having 4 years of work experience. So that is something that we look and decide, but they will be entitled to other occupations like engineering, technologies, and so forth. And you need to have a particular level of academic qualification. Then the next thing which we come across, and of course, I have to mention, I'll start off by saying the age. Certainly, you need to be under 45 years of age, but I can assure you that between 40 and 45, things get a bit difficult because you lose points, a lot of points once you pass 40. So we talked about the qualifications. Each occupation, excuse me, has a level of qualification that you need to have. And you may have a particular title called a Bachelor of Engineering or Bachelor of Accounting or Bachelor of IT. But each of those organizations or the educational institution would also need to be accepted by the necessary skill assessing authority. Now I just said skill assessment. Yes. So every occupation, when we go through general skill migration, we need to have your skills assessed. You need to have your skills assessed by the different skill assessing bodies. I think, and there are many skill assessing bodies in Australia. And then we come to work experience. So the age gives you certain points, the qualification gives you certain points, then the work experience also gives you certain points. Now, how do you claim work experience? Is it post-qualifying? Whilst we have a qualification, or is it work experience before? From occupation to occupation, it will be different. And sometimes it might be a hybrid. It depends on the occupation. It depends also on the skill assessing body that will consider the qualifications and the work experience to assess your skills. Then, of course, we have English, and generally the more popular English is IELTS and PTE, which I'm sure that you'll know of. And those are the English tests that you need to take. Then we also have here professional year. This professional year is really for people, candidates who have studied in Australia. This is not applicable for candidates offshore. It is when you study and then when you get your post-study work visa, that's the time that you will get opportunity to do a professional year. And this is with some occupations only, like accounting, IT, and engineering. And then we have what we call the credentialed community language. If you're good with another language, like if I think I'm addressing predominantly a very high Sri Lankan community here, and if your Sinhalese and English, or if your Tamil and English is good, then they will assess and give you certain points. Then finally comes to partner points. If you're single, then there's no question asked. You get 10 points. But if you have a partner, or if you're married and so forth, and if that partner, you don't get the 10 points for being single, but you can get the 10 points if your partner has English, a level of English of IELTS 6 each, or PTE 50 each, as well as if she or he has got a skill assessment. And depending on the occupation that you apply, it has to be a certain occupation that she needs to have to claim. So whilst we move on, just bearing in mind that that we will go through this process of how does this process work. So I talked about we need to have under 45 years of age, we need to have a qualification, we need to have work experience, we need to have English, and some other extra bonus points for credential community language and the professionally and so forth. There is the process of general skill migration is, bear with me for the people who do know, and for the benefit of the people who do not know, is what we do is we go through, assess, first and foremost, see whether you are suitable candidate. Can you get the English? Go and get the English. Can we get the skill assessment? Do you have the necessary qualification? And once the skill assessment is done and English is completed, we claim certain amount of points. The threshold requirement is 65 points. If I get 65 points, would I get my permanent residency? I can't guarantee that. No, you may not. Or you may, depending on the occupation. What is that? What does that mean? What that means is that once you get to the 65 points, and sometimes you get bonus points, not sometimes, if you apply through what you call the state government sponsorship program, where I talked about 190 and 491, you get certain bonus points too. So you claim these bonus points, and what we do is through a skill select process, lodge an expression of interest. We do multiple expressions of interest for whatever the visa that you're entitled to, and whatever the states that you're entitled to. Your relationship manager, and in our organization, everybody has a dedicated relationship manager, will guide you through those, and they will handle that for you. So we had to lodge an expression of interest. How long do you think that it takes to get an invitation? Only when you get an invitation that we can apply for a visa. So how long does it take to get an invitation? We don't know that. I'll tell you an example. Now, let's say we take one profession. We'll say mechanical engineers. So all the mechanical engineers who want to migrate to Australia would have done their English, would have done their skill assessment. There'll be certain people with high experience, low experience, high English, low English, partner points, single, all that. So they have points from 65, 70, 75, 85, right up to 100 or whatever it is. So there will be, let's say, 1,500 mechanical engineers, or 1,000 mechanical engineers who have large expressions of interest. Some have 65, and some have 100. Now, the department will say on a particular month, sometimes they do it twice a month, sometimes once a month, they will say, we want to invite 200 mechanical engineers. Who will get it? The people who have the highest points will get it. And it will go on. Let's say that it comes to a stage where the people with 95 and 90 and all that have got, and there is five more places, and there is a 30 or 40 people with the same amount of points. It will be a first in, first out, whoever lodged the expression of interest first. So important to get that application in. So once an invitation comes through, then only that you can lodge the visa application. But there's an additional step. What is this additional step? Is if you apply for a state government sponsorship, you have shown saying, look, I'm interested to be sponsored by the Victorian government. And we have to first wait for the Victorian government invitation and then lodge that application and claim that why you are suitable to be sponsored by Victoria. And then they will assess, they will approve, and tell the immigration department, yeah, this is a good candidate, give him an invitation. And then we lodge a visa application after 60 days. So that's how the process takes place. Let's have a look at our presentation once again. All right, so we had a look at the types of, as I said, we talked about the 189 visa, we talked about the 491, 190. So as I said, the 189 can be applied only by the people who have got the medium to long-term list occupations, and the other two can be any. It can be any. Now, the 491 visa is an interesting visa. So what the 491 visa does is, it's not a permanent resident visa. The one subclass 189 is permanent resident visa. The subclass 190 is a permanent resident visa, but the 491 is not. It'll give you a provisional visa for 5 years. You need to live and work in regional Australia. Is that in the bush or in the desert? No, no, don't worry. What we mean by regional area is any area which is not in Melbourne and the suburbs close by, or Sydney, the suburbs close by, or Brisbane, anywhere in Western Australia or South Australia, or even in Victoria, just out of the main city areas. You need to live and work for 3 years, and then only they will give you the permanent residency once you apply for what we call a subclass 191 visa. Now, the reason for that is the country likes people to also settle in regional Australia. They're lovely. They're country towns where living costs are cheap. Everybody's friendly towards you. Everybody knows everybody. It's just like in our own countries. And the children go to school. They know everybody. They get to know the parents, all that. They want you to sort of settle down, but you're not forced to. Once you get your permanent residency, you can move on. And one other thing is, one of the reasons that the state governments also give certain sponsorship, let's say that they give regional sponsorship to certain areas, sometimes in New South Wales, when they know that, let's say that, take example, a carpenter or a marketing specialist, and if they know that there are opportunities in a certain area, then they give those in regional areas sponsorship, so that when a person comes and settles in those areas, they will find it easier to find a job. So the sponsorship also is based on the employment opportunities available. So, and we will talk about, and we will always advise the client about the opportunities and what are the requirements that they need to meet. All right, let's move on. And the skill assessment, I think I talked about the skill assessment, but this is a list of some of the more popular. You should talk about IT, that's information technology, has many, many occupations. It's assessed by the Australian Computer Society. And many of the vast amount, which doesn't really fall into any, it's marketing specialists, human resources, hundreds of them fall under what we call a wet assess. All engineers have to go to Engineers of Australia, and the teachers will have the teaching, the AITSL. The trades will have the Trade Recognition Australia, and accountants have actually three. They are the only occupation. There are some which have two assessing bodies, but the accountants have accountants, management accountants, tax accountants. They have um, three different bodies. CPA, that what I'm a member of. We normally get most of the our applicants assessed by the CPA. Then also the Chartered Institute of Australia, as well as the Institute of Public Accountants. Then of the quantity surveyors and then architects. So the list goes on. And I think in our presentation, we are talking about 40 different. I have to admit, again, going back to why do you want a migration agent? Why don't you do? Each of these assessing bodies will have an absolutely unique way of assessing the types of qualification they will accept, the type of documentation they will expect, each of them, and how they are presented. What is the minimum content of those documents? They are so varied. Some may be manual applications, some are online applications, and it goes on. Never anything uniformed. I'd like to take a few, these are real life scenarios of my relationship managers. So one of the things that I want to go back is how our organization is structured, and me being the registered migration agent. It's not my 17 years of being in practice, and of course almost 20 years of being in this field that comes down. It's another 15 or 20 migration agents, because I belong to a group of migration agents where the knowledge that comes down to my team is not only mine, it comes from all these people who have experience, very experienced migration. And we have our own private group, which we share our knowledge, and if we come across a situation, we always invariably somebody has gone through that. So we harness a lot of knowledge coming into the goes down through our managers and down to the relationship managers. So our structure is based on myself, a general manager. Under her, we would have senior different managers in different fields, like Angela Norton, who is in our panel, will be the manager skill migration based out of the Sydney office. And he will have a team of relationship managers. They are very highly skilled with extremely tight quality control on the work that we do. So this scenario is a quick scenario. Applicant is 33 years of age. Let's go back. I missed that point. Yeah. Just let me go back a bit more. Yeah, I'm going the wrong way here. Okay. Now, the applicant is 38 years old, have 80 years of work experience, single, qualified as a fitter, and also has a degree. Now, you don't need to have a degree to be a fitter, but you studied and got a bachelor's degree. And a calculation of points. For a single, he's got 10 points, so he's not married. And he's got, his age is between 33 and 39, he's got 25 points. Work experience. So got 8 years of work experience. Now, how that work experience will calculate it, obviously the relationship manager will know in conjunction. You might have 10 or 12 years, but we take the correct work experience. And the English band score of superior English has got 79 in PTE. That would be equal to IELTS 8 each. PTE becomes 79. And the qualification, I had a trade qualification too, but also had a degree. So there we go. Had the process and sorry if I have gone in a little bit quick here. And the skill assessment done onshore under the occupation fitter. I got through the skill assessment period. We applied the applicant under a 190 and received an invitation before his current visa expired. So this is a gentleman who has been in Australia and been a fitter, going through the general skill migration. And as you see, um, um, applied under 190 and 189, but finally a state government sponsorship coming through as on a 190. And then we get another example of a person who is 33 years old, software engineer, um, had superior English, does married, so obviously spouse had the ICT quality assurance engineer. So partner has got 10 points. This is very interesting. For partner to get 10 points, the partner must undertake the English, get IELTS 6 or PTE 50 each in English, and also skill assessment. Um, age between ages 25, work experience 5 points because the ACS has taken away 2 out of his 6 years and got some good English and qualifications of a bachelor's degree. Now, I think in this case, if you do talk to our relationship manager, the relationship manager would have also confirmed there would have been 2 applicants here. So once the ICT quality assurance engineer, that's the spouse having that and having English, we look at her too. So there are double the chance, one being a software engineer and the other one being ICT quality assurance. It doesn't matter who becomes the main applicant. Who gets the invitation, that person becomes the main applicant. Um, and has got additional 5 points here. So subclass 190 for permanent residency get 5 points more. The person 491, state government sponsored regional, gets 15 points more. Another a person with we went through this one, and also we had gone through this fitter qualification. All right. Let's there's one other example. I'm trying to take in a few examples. This is a human resources manager. We started the process. Our client had only 1 year left before turning 40. Remember, I told you as soon as you turn 40, then the points drop. It says you lose 10 points. To expedite the process, what we have done is we have done the option of express with IMS. So we have gone on a priority based skill assessment with the Institute of the Skill Assessing Body. Remarkably, we received outcome within 8 weeks. At the moment, the IIT has achieved proficient English. The partner has got competent English without any delay, log the expression of interest. Within 6 months, received an iteration from ACT. ACT stands for the Australian Capital Territory. For people who are not familiar with the territories, it's Canberra, which and a 491 visa with a total of 70 points. Let's see how the points came. Partner didn't have a skill assessment. Only partner got 5 points for doing English. Age just before the 40, so it got 25 points. Work experience have been good because obviously a person of 30, 39 would have got 15 points. It got 8 years of work experience. English was not superior but proficient. That means got 65 each in PTE and got 10 points. And the qualification 15 points for the masters and got a total of 70 points with the extra 15 points. Now, why I want to tell you here is that we applied applicant under work regional sponsored 491, which gave the applicant an additional 15 points invited within 6 months. I was talking about the state governments now. I have to tell you that there are territories and territories are the Northern Territory and the Australian Capital Territory. Others are called states, which comprise of Western Australia, South Australia, New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, and Tasmania. So in Australia, it is the governance, the political system is that they are like different countries. They have their own parliaments. So they participate in the migration process. They participate in the migration process, and they have a big say in who comes to their state and when and how much. And that's why the state government sponsorship process takes place. I Before I go into questions and answers, I just want to also mention for people, our participants in Sri Lanka, we have got an education expo. This will be on the 4th of May 2024. You will have approximately about 10 relationship managers, and our general manager will be also attending in person. Time starting at 10 a.m. Havelock City Mall. Keep a record of this. Come in, have a chat, talk talk to the those relationship managers about any kind of skill migration they will have, whether it is students. Of course, I didn't mention about student that we do student visas, general skill migration, family migration, and yes. So please feel free to come in. Just that since we have a number of participants from various different countries. I just want to know our head office is based in Melbourne, and we are in Essendon, but we are also represented in Sydney and also in Darwin. Um, and then we have our office in Colombo in Cotter Road, at 565 Cotter Road. And the entire Gulf region is managed by our Dubai office, headed by Andrea Pereira and her team, which is on Facebook Live today, and helping out with their questions and answers. And we have also business partner Ram representing in UK, where we actually do a lot of what you call employer-sponsored visas for UK citizens to come over to Australia. Um, Going back, questions and answers. So this is the time that you would have, and hopefully I'll have the answers to your question. And so I hope it is not too long, our presentation, but there'll be many questions, I'm sure, um, that you'd like to ask. Excellent. So the first question comes from Harini. I'm 43 years old. We have to talk about 43 years young. Can I apply under 491 category without spouse marks? I've got witnesses positive under finance branch manager. That's, I think we call it the financial institution branch manager. What are the states that are looked for? Now, yes, Harini, we will take into account your work experience, and you may need to get superior English. So please get in touch with us and sit down, and your relationship manager, depending on which where you're speaking from, from Sri Lanka or Dubai, will be able to advise you the opportunities. I have to admit, financial institution branch managers have had very limited opportunity, and this is a time that you should also think of finding a suitable employer. We have plenty of opportunities to get sponsored on the what we call the employer-sponsored migration. I'm an the next. I'm an offshore engineering technologist with 10 years experience, 37 years with PT Profession score and partner 5 points. What are the chances of getting an invitation? I have been waiting for an invitation for more than an year for 491 visa for 85 points. Okay, excellent question. Now, yes. Now, what I do not know is whether your migration agent has lodged all the potential expressions of interest. It's not just one 491, it has to be multiple 491s. And being an engineer technologist should have a very high level of opportunity. And I would also encourage you to apply for Australian jobs, because engineering is in high in the agenda. And what we also have is a database of employees, and we have our own database of employees. We try to do the matching process too. So please do send us your CV and whatever you have done on the expression of interest. What are the recent changes in migration policy in Australia? Any changes to the points schedule? what would be the minimum points for each category to get a visa as per your experience? No, that's a very broad question. There is no change to the point system. Now, let's start with that. No point system, no change to the point system. There is nothing called a minimum. Minimum is 65 points. Here we know that. But yeah, do you get an invitation with minimum points? You could. If that occupation is in very high demand, especially in the medical and the teaching professions, you can get an invitation at a very low score. So maybe it's a bit difficult for me to comment, not knowing the occupation. So the next question, is there a demand for management accountancy, semi-senior auditors under subclass 190? Is I do know management accountants, external auditors, internal auditors are in the list, and they are all in the medium to long-term list. You need to be a bachelor's degree level qualification with an accounting major. SIMA, Chartered Institute of Sri Lankan Chartered Institute is a full qualification. SIMA being an ACMA accounting degree from a recognized university will all get you the skill assessment. I'm 39 years old, network engineer, 12 years experience, ACS positive skill assessment with full points. Is there forward opportunities while change in progress? Age is critical. Yeah, that's he points out exactly what we were talking about. I sincerely hope you get an invitation, but I would like you to please send your CV, refer to the conversation, that refer to the webinar, and see. We do have few employers who want top quality network engineers. Happy to introduce them, and if they are willing to take you on, then of course I'll convince them to do the sponsorship for you. My wife has completed a 4-year degree at a private university from Sri Lanka. However, the Associated Foreign University Degree Certificate indicates that it's a 3-year degree. Should this degree be considered as a 4-year degree or a 3-year degree? No. See, I was talking about these 3 years and 4 years for engineers. So I'm not too sure what the occupation is. And um, if you're done for 3 years, it's done for 3 years. We don't change it around. But what matters is the occupation. Does the occupation want a 4-year bachelor's degree like teaching or engineering? Or does the occupation need only a 3 years bachelor's qualification? Then that's fine. Right. I read that there's a new migration plan that is supposed to come. Would this mean skill migration will become more challenging? It's been always challenging. The policy doesn't change too much. Actually, the changes would come more on the employer-sponsored visas, and they want genuine people, highly qualified. That will never change. They will just change rules either side. But Australia requires migration. There's a very big migration of almost 200,000 people coming in. So this country is built by migrants. It's a young country built by migrants. So first and foremost, never say that think about that general skill migration or the migration is going to stop in Australia. It hasn't. There'll be changes that will be positively impact some applicants and negatively impact certain, but they are looking at younger people, so need to be very mindful about that. Because that's the reason of that is Australia has a very aging population, so they think that everybody is entitled to pension, unlike other countries where you have contributed and they get a pension. No, here everybody gets a pension when they get a pension of age, so long as they don't have other income. So therefore, they have to manage to 30 years in front, and that's why they want to get younger people to come, work, pay taxes. I'm a 40 years bank manager, MBA holder when on the demand for bank managers. As I previously mentioned, bank managers go as under financial institution branch managers. They have had over the years, unfortunately, they've had a very low demand for that. And I would more look at finding employment. Now, you don't have to find employment as a bank manager in a bank in Australia, but there can be a lot of financial institutions or financial brokers and so forth where your qualifications would come very handy. Um, is there a good demand for people in the logistics, distribution, supply chain industry? I'm a person with 10 years experience in the field with an MBA and high qualification. I wanted to see your qualifications and MBA. It's good that you said 10 years. I believe you're at a very senior position. So yes, get in touch with us. There is logistics have only opportunities at a very high level called supply chain uh, uh, manager occupation. And if you have got and you have many subordinates working for you, then you have a very good chance of getting a skill assessment and having an opportunity. I'm 33 years old and hold both a master's and a bachelor's degree in computing. I have 12 years of working experience as an IT engineer consultant in various companies, including remote work for an Australian company and a Swedish company. My wife is currently not employed and we have a 1-year-old baby. I'm considering applying for skill migration. Could you please advise if I'm eligible? Additionally, I would appreciate guidance on what else I need to prepare and have ready before submitting my application. So as I said, it's not about the application. You need to get that CV across to us and to sit down and set a timeline to get a skill assessment, to get English. Then making sure that your CV also gets into our database to see whether we can match up with potential clients. I don't promise that, but we always look at matching up. And your age is absolutely right. And 12 years means you are going to get maximum points of work experience. And IT is, again, in very high demand in Australia. So the starting point, send us a CV to our inquiries line, which you would have by this time have inquiries at sanjicaldera.com or even info 4 at sanjicaldera.com. And also, I can see Angelo will also get in touch with you and respond and give you some details where you should be sending your CV to. My husband is development. Sorry, I lost you there. Yeah, let me go back. My husband is development software, development scopes engineer, completed his degree as SLIT. IT cybersecurity can be main applicant. What kind of visa can be lodged? I'm currently working in Australian University, but in a branch located in Sri Lanka. I've completed my MBA. We are both just 26 years old. Give us a small idea. It can be at. Again, please do, Tarushi, please let us have your husband's CV and the occupations, the qualification from it is highly recognized. Cybersecurity is very much in the thing. Definitely, just a world opening out for you. Very high potential, subject to your English and so forth. Please do send us. We'll definitely be able to assist. We call it sort of with your age and so forth, a perfect candidate. Yeah. Hi, Sanchi. Appreciate if you can share your view on how Aussie government promotes skill migration future and the way forward as far viability have got on the process. Look, yeah, I know it's a very broad question. As I said before, this country is comprising of migrants, and there is absolutely no way that they will stop it. They may reduce slightly numbers, but that is just to make sure that the infrastructure in Australia, because people can come, but they have to have a place to live. So the houses have to come. That means we need engineers, that we need IT people, infrastructure, anything to do with infrastructure. And we do know specifically the construction industry in Western Australia is absolutely booming. So for any employer who is taking, even sponsoring overseas employees get actually a boost of some $10,000. There are some rules which are applying. Um, uh, Lahiru, regarding your skill assessment for organization and method analyst, and have 491 85 points and 197 points waiting for inflation for a year. Any chance, or do you have any 482 opportunities points breakdown? Look, first and foremost, we need to look at your CV and look at your current EOIs and see whether you have lodged correctly to all the uh, potential state government sponsorship opportunities of 190 and 491. Now, for all these participants, I want to tell you something very interesting. Do not stop looking at applying for jobs while you're offshore. Now, I have in here many onshore um, participants who have studied here and so forth. But look at, because Australia, there are serious skill shortages after COVID, especially in regional Australia. Present your application. You have 100, you'll get 99 failures, and you might have one person who's interested in saying, we like to talk about it. And you say, look, I need a sponsorship. I'm applying for migration too, but till that happens, I'd like employer sponsorship opportunity. They say, look, what do we have to do? Say, okay, I'm happy to introduce my migration agent. I'm happy to speak to them and convince them to sponsor you. It's a win-win for everyone. Yes, again, Lahru, please send through and apply for jobs from offshore, because it's a fairly niche occupation that is sought after. Do we have opportunities in IT business analyst? Yes, certainly we have, and it is in the medium to long-term occupation list. Based on your experience, do you think 40 years is not possible to migrate? No, I didn't say that. 40 years is young. That's the time you have a lot of work experience, but you may have to score highly on other points. Getting your maximum English, and if you're single, that's fine. But if you're married, hopefully the spouse can give you 5 or 10 points. No, 40 is possible, but when it's 40 years, I would like to really concentrate also at the same time, whilst we work on your general skill migration points, to work and seeing whether you can find an employer who's willing to sponsor you. And it's again based on your occupation. I'm a registered nurse in Australia. I did my skill assessment and I applied for 190, 491, 189. Now I have 70 points for 190. Now I'm on a 48408 COVID visa. Yes, it's expiring next month. Still waiting for a 190. Can you advise me how we can extend? Please, I don't know your name. Please get in touch with me personally on info@sanjicaldera.com. You really don't have much time. Have a chat with your employer. I'm happy to have a chat with your employer, explain the situation, because nurses are very highly sought after. I'm very surprised you are in this situation, that not getting an invitation. But I wish you'd have spoken to me a little bit earlier, because we certainly have employers who are willing to sponsor you. What is the professional charge for a migration process handled by your company? That is a very open-ended question. I'm not willing to sort of disclose that, because it ranges depending on the occupation, whether it is general skill migration or sponsored. It can be low as 4,000 Australian dollars. It can be high as 6,000 Australian dollars, depending. But it is really depends on what your situation is. For IT professionals, what is the minimal work experience requirement? Some say they should have at least 5 to. No, to be eligible. No, you don't. If you're Australian qualified, you need only 1 year of work experience to get into the mix of having a skill assessment. But if you're offshore qualification, you need to have 2 years of work experience. These 2 years, I think, Angelo, out of the new rules, you could confirm this to me. It can be 2 years, can be while studying, before studying, after studying, but you need to have 2 years if your qualification is offshore. If your qualification is onshore, it's 1 year, or taking the professional year if you're looking for a job. Right. So, yeah, so we have come to some, at the moment we will encourage you to ask for any further questions that you have. But yeah, generally what I want to do also till some of the questions are asked to is that what our service is all about. We have a very high level of integrity and confidentiality, and a very high level of professionalism, which I have very, very personally started as myself doing these applications and building up a team of very, very uh, um, high quality relationship manager. They are very highly skilled. We go through a very stringent quality control process on each of the applications. We have continuous training. And as I said, I harness not only my knowledge over the last 20 years, it's another almost 20 other senior migration agents who part with their knowledge to certain questions. It appears to be fairly straightforward, but it doesn't, there are many pitfalls. Very sadly, I've seen people making some very, very simple mistakes because if it's on the general skill migration, I'll tell you many examples, but especially not updating their not updating their EOIs, and also the fact that the changes are not updated on your EOI. Some changes automatically, like the age, work experience, can automatically be, and some people with expired skill assessment. A skill assessment is valid for 3 years. A skill assessment from ACA is valid for only 2 years. Then English is valid for 3 years, and then professionally is valid for a certain number of, depending on which year you took it. So there are many pitfalls, and one of the major pitfalls is claiming work experience incorrectly. That is a real drama because if you claim 75 points, the pass mark is 65. So let's say that you made a mistake, they take off 5 points, you're 70. What's the problem? Your anyway pass mark? No, your application will be refused. If you claim 75 or 80 or 85, you must substantiate that. And and so and that's one of the grave mistakes people do make. Sometimes when they say English 6, they take average 6. No, you can't. You have to take um, each band 6 or 7 or 8, whatever you claim. Um, Asad says, any advice from you on the best and trustable website to find employer-sponsored jobs? Seek, absolutely spot on. Seek.com is something, and also if yes, please let us have your CVs. No, no, it's very confidential. No charge to keep it and try to match it up against an employer. And the employer sponsorship, of course, majority of applicants that we handle or what we see in the marketplace has to go through a migration. Not that it has to, it tends to go through a migration agent because of the complexities of generally a 482 application for temporary skill shortage will have three different applications: a sponsorship, a nomination, and a visa application. How, when it is claimed, and we have what we call a very intricate process called the labor market testing. We need to provide, this is I'm talking about employer sponsored on a subclass 482, we need to demonstrate to the department that all efforts have been made by the employer to find the employee, and and that process is very specific, what we need to show the department on how long it has been a test, what information has to go, what sort of proof has to be given. So this is where definitely seeking your advice from a reputed migration agent who have experience in employer sponsorship must be taken. Yeah. So there we go. Just I need to get rid of this. Yeah. Um, right. And a few more questions. How can I obtain a skill assessment from Australian Computer Society? Is it possible to do it online? Also, could you provide information on the documents required? So you need to send your CV. It is something that we don't assist you to do an Australian company. We do it ourselves. And we are, as a signed up client, we do it, and we will then issue you a list of very specifically the type of documentation you need. And ACS is very specific. The fact that when we show that you've been, I'll take an example. If you say that you've got a payslip and you've got the salary sent to the bank, they insist that the bank needs to indicate that in their bank statement the employer name, which it doesn't happen in many countries, and then we need to have alternate solutions to prove that the money was given. Is it EPF or ETF and so forth? So we'll be happy to assist after looking at the documentation, but we do not assist people to say this is how you do it. Right. Look, we'll give another a couple of minutes before we wind up this general skill migration. Once again, I need to tell you that for the people in Sri Lanka, we have I need to get we need to have that on Saturday, 4th of May. We at Havelock City. You could come in person, no obligations, sit down and have a chat with our range of relationship managers who will be there to assist you in your migration questions. And a question answer, do you handle 494 visas? Yes, certainly we do. By the way, 494 visas, after the new rule of the subclass 482, where uh, a person with in the short-term list can apply for 482 for 2 years and then get into 186 very quickly. 494 is extreme. We do a lot of 494 visas, but it's not going to be a very popular visa in the future. Why? Because you should go through the 482. The only time that you go through the 494 visa is if your occupation is strictly not in the 482 list, only in the 494 list as a regional occupation, and you're close to 45, where if you do a 482 visa when you apply for your PR, you should be under 45. But in a 494 visa, once you get the 494 visa and it's applied before your 45th bid, it doesn't matter, because many years later, when you're applying for PR through the subclass 191, you can be over 45. So yes, we do apply, and the 494 visa, as you know, go through what we call a regional certification body process too. Yeah, and it goes through the regional certification body process. Happy to assist and speak to. Nishan, I'm a quantity survey. I'm a member of the IQS with CQS. If I apply for migration, what is the best category? It'll be a quantity survey. And in this instance, I would like you to direct you to the Dubai office. Andrea does specialize in many quantity surveys that she has assisted in the past. So, Nishan, please get in touch with our Dubai office, or if you do get in touch with inquiries, you say you'd like to get in touch with Andrea Pereira of our Dubai office. Right. All right. As we just passed 1 hour, we are coming to the end of one of our series of webinars that I conduct, and timely webinars that we do conduct time and again. And what I need to say is, yes, general skill migration is absolutely alive, and we are waiting excitedly for the new quotas and everything to come through in the next few months. But that's not the time to decide. It's time to decide now. Get your skill assessment, get your English, have everything ready, and then launch launch your visa application through any invitations once the new quotas come through. At the moment, we still get invitations from many state governments on certain occupations. So it is an ongoing process. Right. Once again, I thank you very much to joining us in this webinar. Trust it was useful, and especially in Australia, in the long weekend of 4 days we have in for Good Friday and Easter Monday, joining and listening to a webinar is, I think, pretty what I call it. There is some sort of motivation and dedication to listen to a webinar on this weekend. Please be in touch. We should thank all of you who have participated and asked these questions today. And thank our team with Andrea Pereira up in Dubai on Facebook Live, as well as Angelo Norton helping me with answering the questions on on this particular Zoom session. Yes, please feel free to ask any questions. Um, I will give a few minutes more, but otherwise, please get in touch. And most importantly, keep safe and have a lovely evening today.